Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video this morning. I hope that you're doing really great, and so we will be taking a look at what is going on across the North Atlantic, those tropical waves and the Caribbean and surrounding areas, and we'll also be drifting over into the Eastern Pacific. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update. Alright, so let us return to this infrared satellite imagery, and here we can see that there isn't much going on for those tropical waves out there. Just take a look at how much that activity has dissipated, just as I spoke about. And let's take a closer look at the area. So there we have them, and we can see that there isn't a whole lot going on. Lots of dry air in the region, but they will continue propagating towards the west. Let's go on to that dry air map, and here we can see it, all of that activity just in the vicinity of where we see some of those shades of oranges, reds, which is where that dry air is in a lot more abundance. So that is why that activity is dissipating. As for activity in association with that second tropical wave moving west, most of that is to the south of that dense layer of dry air. And so let's see what's going to be happening with it. And this was actually forecast by most models that, hey, this wouldn't be looking too good, but as it heads closer to the Caribbean, there could be a lot of increase in that moisture and those showers and thunderstorms, and overall there might be a better chance of seeing something develop from it. But as of right now, they're not looking too good out there. They're going to continue to struggle as they make their way across the main development region. Alright, now let's go on to the Caribbean and surrounding areas. So look into Northern South America. There is some thunderstorm activity popping up across some spots in Colombia and Venezuela this morning. Things going to be pretty sunny throughout most of the morning for the Guyanas down there, but heading to this afternoon, there might be some rainfall activity for some areas. ABC Islands remaining dry as per usual. Going over into Panama, we see some thunderstorm activity. For the Lesser Antilles, there isn't much happening right now. Most islands are in the clear. Let's head further up north, and here we can see that there really isn't a whole lot going on. So there is a bit of activity that is approaching from the east, so that might bring some overcast weather, maybe some passing showers even for some spots, but nothing crazy is going on right now. And across some parts of Hispaniola, going to Cuba, there is some thunderstorm activity popping up, and nothing much seen right now across the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, and going to Florida, and even in the vicinity of Jamaica, going to the Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. There isn't a whole lot happening at the moment. Heading over into Central America, there is some thunderstorm activity across some spots. Going to Mexico, Guatemala, there was that blob in El Salvador, but that is moving now to the west, and most other areas are pretty much in the clear right now. And so how about the rainfall activity that we should expect to see today? Let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall maps, starting out with the GFS model here. So as we head more to those shades of yellows, oranges, reds, that is where a lot more rainfall is expected. So across most Caribbean islands, we're not seeing where a whole lot of rain is likely today, especially over in the east. But as we head to some spots in Hispaniola, Cuba, even for Jamaica, there could be some isolated shower and thunderstorm activity popping up. And over into parts of the Bahamas, especially the northern Bahamas and parts of southern Florida, there might be something similar. Those thunderstorms popping up as we head to this afternoon. And then down in northern South America, that daytime heating helping to induce a lot of that activity. So that is where that heavy rainfall comes in for parts of Colombia, going to Venezuela, and even going over into parts of Panama and Costa Rica, and then over into Mexico. But some of the rainfall in Mexico is going to be influenced by a system over there, which we will be looking at very shortly. Going on to Euro not expecting as much rainfall for some areas, definitely showing that activity for Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, maybe even some spots in Guyana, but for most of the Lesser Antilles, it should be clear for the most part. Maybe some passing showers, as I said, for some areas such as Trinidad, Tobago, but it should be a sunny day for the most part. So let's drift into the Eastern Pacific and take a look at this blob over there in the Bay of Campeche, extended inland. So there's lots of moisture within this area, and there is a tropical wave there, and then another which is in association with a disturbance which could develop into the next tropical cyclone of the season. However, we're seeing that it is quite disorganized right now. So it is in very close proximity to the Mexican coast, likely producing a lot of heavy rainfall across some spots, but it could develop into something over there. Let's go on to what NHC has to show. And here we can see that it is given a very high 90% chance of development. So tropical depression is likely to develop sometime as we head through today. Let's see if it is going to be getting better organized, and it eventually will be making its way up to the northwest. It will continue to the northwest, closer to the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula. So let's see what's going to be happening with regards to that. And further to the west, there we have Dora, Hurricane Dora out there in the Pacific right now. Let's take a look at the cyclone on satellite, and here we can see that it is certainly looking defined, and it is tiny but mighty out there. So it is sustaining itself as a hurricane. Let's go on to the cone forecast. Maximum sustained winds are 110 miles per hour. I believe it's slightly strengthened since last night, and it is moving westward at 18 miles per hour. So we see that as we're going to be heading into throughout this time frame here all the way to Wednesday, we're seeing that H, which indicates hurricane intensity. So it should maintain hurricane intensity for the next couple of days. It will pass well to the south of the Hawaiian Islands, not bringing any direct impacts. And so guys, that is what I wanted to share with you in this update. That is what is going on across the tropics. And so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond once I get the chance. And as always, remember to be weatherwise.